Hey everyone, if you love that 4X gameplay from the Civilization franchise, or maybe you didn't and you just want something a little bit different, then keep watching, as here are 16 great games like Civilization that I really think you need to check out. So first up on the list is a game that I recently covered, it's Heart of the Machine. Now this isn't your typical 4X game, and in fact it's not a game that you could easily squeeze into any one genre. However, it does have tons of Civ-like gameplay elements, but this cyberpunk strategy game also blends in turn-based combat similar to XCOM, as well as city building and role-playing mechanics that make it really hard to explain, but so much fun to play. In the game, you're this AI that's become sentient, and now you need to build up your android revolution any way you know how. The gameplay is deep, it's complex, but once you get the hang of it, it is so much fun to play. So if you love this cyberpunk setting and looking for a truly unique take on the 4X genre, then definitely check out Heart of the Machine today. Now, if you want a strategy game that blends global politics, space colonization, and tactical combat, then next on the list is Terra Invicta. In the game, you'll lead one of 7 ideological factions vying for control as an alien threat looms over Earth. Starting as a covert organization, your mission involves uniting nations, guiding research, and battling rival factions for influence. But victory doesn't end on Earth. You must expand across the entire solar system. Terra Invicta features dynamic geopolitics, detailed faction mechanics, and a shifting celestial map with over 300 celestial bodies to colonize. The game also comes with this realistic spaceship design and physics-driven tactical combat that add depth to its rich strategic gameplay. So if you love games that challenge your diplomacy, strategic planning, and resource management across both Earth and space, then definitely check out Terra Invicta today. But if you're all about rewriting history and building your own unique civilization, then next on the list is Humankind. You start out as a little basic Neolithic tribe and work your way up through the ages, mixing and matching up to 60 different cultures. Want to go from Babylonians to the Mayans to the British? You can do that here. It's all about crafting an empire that's totally your own. The game keeps things interesting with a fame-based win system where it's not just about conquering everything in sight, but here your decisions and achievements actually do matter. Battles, yeah, they're turn-based tactical ones where you can unstack armies and really get into it. Plus, you can even customize your leader, who then changes as your civilization evolves. So if you're into epic empire building with a twist and love a game where the journey really counts, maybe check out Humankind today. Next up, one of the greatest strategy games of all time, it's Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. Yes, it is a bit dated, I mean it came out in 1999, but I just couldn't forget one of the greats on this list, and it also helps level out my recency bias here. This game took the classic Civ formula and just threw it into an alien planet where 7 rival factions, each with their own big opinions, battle for control. And yes, even though it's rocking those vintage late 90s graphics, Alpha Centauri still holds up with deep mechanics, customizable units, and choices that actually matter. And yeah, it still feels like a modern game. Maybe people in the comments below can help me out, and yeah, maybe also give a like if you're enjoying the video so far. In the game, you can terraform the land, design your own military, and then decide if you want to be the noble explorer or the kind of leader who just nerve staples rebellious citizens. Plus, the game's lore and philosophical debates go way harder than they need to. To me, a straight up remake of this game would be so good right now. But for now, if you love Civ but wish it had more mind worms and moral dilemmas, then definitely check out Alpha Centauri today. But instead, if you want to lead your own nation through 10,000 years of history and alternate timelines, then next on the list is Millennia. This is a turn-based 4X strategy game that lets you shape the fate of humanity, from building the first cities to exploring space or even wild futuristic paths. In the game, you'll navigate crises, make groundbreaking discoveries, and guide your people through both triumphs and chaos. What sets Millennia apart though is its variant and crisis ages, which are these alternate timelines where you can unlock new technologies like cloud estates or underwater cities. But you need to watch out though. Mess up and you could plunge into war or ignorance. Plus, you get to craft your nation's identity, manage resources, and research advancements to build a thriving empire. So if you love rewriting history, tackling the unexpected, and turning crises into opportunities, then maybe give Millennia a try today. Now, if post-apocalyptic survival strategy is more your vibe, ZEPHON might be right up your alley. From the devs behind Warhammer 40k Gladius, this 4X drops you into a ruined Earth where mutated animals, broken robots, and eldritch horrors roam the wastelands. In this game, you're leading humanity's last survivors, trying to figure out how to not die. You'll build these basic settlements into fortified cities, battle with over 50 different unique units, and explore a world that's more nightmare fuel than nostalgic. There's also these crazy terrains like flesh trees and volcanoes, plus tech trees that go from survivalist basics to transhuman cyberpunk upgrades. Oh yeah, and those battles, well, they happen on the main map. No switching modes or going through those auto-resolve mechanics. Diplomacy is also on the table, but everyone's got their own agenda, so good luck with that. Whether you choose the path of humanity, machines, or eldritch monstrosities, your decisions will shape Earth's grim future. It's bleak, it's tactical, and honestly a ton of fun, so definitely go check out ZEPHON if that sounds like the game for you. Now if you want a Civ style game but with some fresh ideas, then next on the list is Ara History Untold. Think of it like Civilization's younger, more ambitious cousin, one that's got some new tricks up its sleeve. You'll still be building nations, guiding your people through history, and outsmarting rivals, but this time everything unfolds simultaneously, meaning no waiting around for turns to resolve. It's a little weird. One of the big features in the game though is the national crafting system, where you can fine-tune your economy down to the tiniest detail. Do you invest in luxury goods for your citizens or churn out weapons for war? Plus, you're also not stuck on a single tech path, so every playthrough can feel wildly different. So yes, I do need to add in though that this game is heavy in micromanagement. Like, it's one of the game's biggest drawbacks for some, and it can put a lot of people off. So just be aware, there is a lot of micromanagement in this game. It also still needs some work in some places, but hey, it's on Game Pass, so maybe try it out there, or maybe just give it a little more time for some further updates. So if you love Civ but just wanted something a little bit different, some faster pacing, a lot of micromanagement, and a world that feels alive, then really check out Ara History Untold today. Now, if you're after a charming, bite-sized strategy game with 4x depth, then next on the list is Battle of Polytopia. The game is set in this quirky, flat world known as the Square, where you'll lead one of 16 unique tribes to victory by exploring new lands, researching new technologies, and dominating rival civilizations. This turn-based strategy game offers dynamic, auto-generated maps, customizable environments, and 3 game modes: Perfection, Domination, and Creative. In the game, you can expand your empire, engage in diplomacy, or even launch stealthy surprise attacks using cloaks and daggers. Now I know what you might be thinking, Marco, this looks like a mobile game. And to be honest, I did put a lot of hours into this game on my phone. Yes, it can be played on PC, but I don't know, if you've got long trips and you just want to play some kind of 4X strategy game, then this one really works well on your phone. I really enjoy its vibrant visuals, it's got a lot of strategic depth, and the combat is really fun too. So if you want something casual and you definitely want something for on-the-go fun, then definitely check out the Battle of Polytopia today. Now if you want deep turn-based strategy with a sci-fi twist, then next on the list is Age of Wonders Planetfall, which can I guess be best described as XCOM meets Civilization. In the game you'll lead one of 6 unique factions, from high-tech soldiers to dinosaur-riding warriors, and even some creepy cyborg zombies. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Gameplay-wise, you'll be managing colonies, researching technology, and engaging in tactical turn-based battles with destructible environments. So yeah, positioning actually matters here. And with multiple victory paths, you can also win through diplomacy, brute force, or straight up doomsday weapons. It comes with a full story campaign, random skirmishes, and multiplayer, so plenty to sink your teeth into. So if you love deep strategy but wanted one in a sci-fi world, and the idea of commanding space Amazons, then you definitely want to check out Age of Wonders Planetfall today. But then if you want deep space strategy with a side of political drama, then next on the list is Endless Space 2, an absolute classic game. This one's a 4X space opera where you lead a civilization to galactic dominance, either through diplomacy, war, or just straight up economic flexing. You'll be exploring ancient ruins, colonizing planets, and then managing populations that actually have opinions about how you rule. The game's got these epic real-time space battles, customizable ships, and then that ever-addictive just one more turn type of gameplay. Factions though play wildly different, like one just literally eats planets. There's also a political system, so your people might vote against you and your grand plans, which can be annoying, but hey, it's realism. So if you love deep space strategy, political intrigue, and sending fleets into cinematic laser battles, then you definitely want to check out Endless Space 2 today. Now if you want civilization but with zero diplomacy and 100% war, then next on the list is Warhammer 40k Gladius, Relics of War. So yeah, even though it's a 4X game, it's hard to say that because the Warhammer setting, there's always war going on, so yeah. I guess it's a little bit different here. In the game, you'll pick a faction, build up your army, research deadly tech, and then proceed to blast everything that isn't you off the map. And yeah, every faction plays totally different. Like the Space Marines only get one city, while the Tyranids just consume everything. The research tree keeps things tight but impactful, unlocking new weapons, vehicles, and tactical abilities. And with strategic resource points to fight over, every battle actually matters. So if you love the Warhammer setting, brutal tactical combat, and just winning through sheer firepower alone, then definitely check out Warhammer 40k Gladius today. Now if you want a 4X strategy game with deep customization, but with magical mayhem, then next on the list is Age of Wonders 4. This one's all about shaping your own fantasy empire. Literally, you don't just pick a faction, you craft one from the ground up, choosing their race, culture, magical abilities, and even their physical traits. Want a tiny army of fire-breathing cat people? Sure thing, go ahead. Gameplay wise, it's a mix of exploration, city building, and tactical turn-based combat. The magic system lets you evolve your empire mid-game, so you can give your people wings or turn them into demon spawn on the fly. And yeah, it comes with that classic just one more turn feel, but with a fantasy twist. So if you love deep strategy, high fantasy world building, and the idea of leading an army of killer penguins, then definitely check out Age of Wonders 4 today. But now if you want a space opera where you can build a galactic empire from scratch, then next on the list is Stellaris, a game that you cannot miss. You start by designing your own alien species, maybe it's a ruthless hive mind, some robots, or maybe a peaceful federation of space sloths. I don't know, but then you need to explore the galaxy, colonize planets, and decide whether to befriend or recycle your neighbors. What really makes Stellaris shine though is through its storytelling. The game is packed with sci-fi events, ancient mysteries, and galaxy-shaking crises that force everyone, yes even your worst enemies, to band together or perish. The diplomacy system is deep, but unlike other Paradox games, one mistake won't mean the end of your empire. You can always adapt, scheme, and maybe even betray your allies later. So if you love grand strategy, endless replayability, and becoming an all-consuming machine overlord, then you definitely want to check out Stellaris today. Next up on the list, we've got Endless Legend. This is for the 4X strategist who loves a little chaos in their campaigns. If you're tired of every faction feeling like a slight reskin of the last, then this game is for you. Amplitude Studios took the idea of unique factions and just ramped it up to 11. Do you want a civilization that converts others instead of expanding normally? Then you can play as the eerie cultists. Prefer to pack up and move your entire empire like some kind of fantasy RV road trip? Then the roving clans have got you covered. Or maybe you just want to eat everyone. Well yeah, then meet the necrophages. Every faction has its own playstyle and even a unique story quest that can lead to victory. Beyond that, Endless Legend throws in a brutal winter system that changes up strategies mid-game, a deep influence mechanic, and a battle system that some love and others can tolerate. But one thing's for sure, no two playthroughs ever feel the same. And yes, the sequel is coming out soon, it looks incredible, so don't forget about that. But for now, if you like your 4X games with a heavy dose of variety and some truly creative mechanics, then definitely check out Endless Legend today. Next on the list, we've got Galactic Civilizations IV, and this is for the strategy fan who wants a space empire game that's as customizable as it is deep. This isn't just your typical 4X game though, it mixes in a dose of grand strategy to make the galaxy feel alive. You start with a civilization that has just cracked faster than light travel, and from there, the universe is your playground. Colonize planets, build massive fleets, forge alliances, or betray them when the time is right. The AI here isn't just playing a numbers game though, it has its own agendas, making every campaign feel dynamic. Also, there is just so much customization going on in this game. And then when it comes to victory, it isn't just about conquest, you can also dominate culturally, diplomatically, or maybe by tackling difficult galactic challenges to earn a prestige victory. With procedurally generated galaxies full of surprises, no two games play out the same. So if you love deep space strategy with plenty of creative freedom, then definitely check out Galactic Civilizations IV today. And then lastly, we've got Old World, and this is for the strategy fan who loves the early game phase of Civilization and just wishes the whole experience stayed in that golden age of spears, city-states, and backstabbing royal families. Designed by Soren Johnson, the mastermind behind Civ 4, this game takes the 4X formula and tightens it up with some really fresh ideas. Instead of leading an immortal ruler across thousands of years, you're running a dynasty with real people who grow old, have heirs, and then eventually kick the bucket. That means that your empire isn't just about managing cities and armies, but also handling court drama, royal marriages, and the occasional shady political maneuver. The game also respects your time. No 500 turn marathons here, every playthrough is capped at 200 turns, and the orders system means not every unit gets to move every turn, making decisions even more crucial. So if you like the depth of Crusader Kings mixed with the strategic bite of Civilization, then you definitely do not want to miss Old World. It's one of the greatest games on this list, and that's why it's my number one. Now before you go, I just wanted to squeeze in some honorable mentions here. So if you want a fast-paced 4X game with a fresh historical twist, then next up on the list is Yield: Fall of Rome. The game is set in the chaotic collapse of the Roman Empire, where you'll lead a faction, conquer provinces, and decide will you embrace the Roman ways or carve out a new destiny? With focused tactical gameplay, shorter match times, and dynamic campaigns, this isn't your typical all-day 4X grind. Plus with multiplayer, seasons, and customizable game modes, there is always a new way to dominate. The game is still very new, but if you love strategy, conquest, and rewriting history, then definitely check out Yield: Fall of Rome today. Now, some of you might be thinking, but where are all the other Paradox games? Yes, they're not technically 4X games and more grand strategy, but games like Europa Universalis IV, Hearts of Iron, and Crusader Kings are all worth looking into. I'll just focus on EU4 here, and if you've ever wanted to rewrite world history, whether by uniting the Holy Roman Empire, colonizing the Americas as Morocco, or turning the Mongols into a global trade powerhouse, Europa Universalis IV is your ultimate playground. This is a legendary grand strategy game that lets you guide any nation from the late Middle Ages to the late Napoleonic era, shaping its destiny through democracy, war, and trade. It's got deep mechanics, historical depth, and expansions that add even more layers of strategy. It's a never-ending journey of conquest, cunning, and let's be honest, questionable border gore. So maybe check out EU4, Crusader Kings, or Hearts of Iron if you just want something different to Civilization. And then lastly, if you've ever wanted to declare yourself a god and back it up with actual divine power, then Dominion 6 is your battlefield. This is a deep turn-based 4X game that lets you lead a nation, wield powerful magic, and crush rival pretenders on your path to true godhood. With massive armies, a new glamour magic path, and even more ways to dominate, this latest entry refines the legendary formula. Multiplayer, mythological nations, and endless strategic depth ensure no two conquests are the same. So yeah, maybe give Dominion 6 a try today if that seems like your kind of jam. So that wraps up my list. Thank you very much for watching. Did you enjoy it? If you did, leave a like and maybe comment on a game or games that you really enjoyed here, or maybe one or two that I left out that you think people need to really know about. But other than that, it's Marco here from Easily Distracted Games, and as always, don't stop gaming.